Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special figure showcase and review we're going to be looking at the 1987 Japanese trainbot Yukikaze. So what we're going to do this video, we're going to have a detailed look at him in both of his modes to help you decide how you want to display him. We'll have a quick look at how he combines to form part of the, again, Japanese exclusive combiner Raiden. As I'm lucky enough to have a couple of different types of packaging, we can have a look at his original 1987 Headmaster release, his 1990 Zone reissue, and indeed the gift set that was released in 1987 as well. So for those of you who are unaware about him, I'm going to do some size comparisons as well, and you'll see that he really is quite small compared to some of today's figures and indeed some of the original ones. So we're going to start off by looking at him in his robot mode, and you've got to bear in mind that these are really sort of quite simple and indeed quite basic, because these were actually from the toy line known as Diaclone, which was pre-Transformers. So these were made literally before 1984, so they are super basic. Now there's a good bit of detail there, I suppose, on his head sculpt and on the chest there. His arms, literally the only articulation they've got, it's sort of like a ball and socket, shall we say. They'll go all the way around. There is literally nothing else. The legs won't spin around, they'll go up and down, but that is just for transformation purposes. And you can see we've got the back of the train stuck on his back. You can already see some of the things you need to be aware of when looking for them yourself, and that is unfortunately sun damage and fade due to the fact that they use a lot of white plastic. Now, a little teeny bit about him, he's the younger brother of the trainbot leader Shuki, and again this is a really small figure, so I'm going to put these up quickly to the side just to again give you an idea. So we've got a current, or at the moment at the time of this video, core class Dinobot there, and we've got a generation 1 minibot right next to him. So you can see that they're not very big figures, but as I say, they are simple, they are basic, but they are absolutely brilliant. Let's just move these out of the way. I'll bring some other figures in later as well. And what we're going to do then, we're going to have a detailed look, as I say, at the packaging, because I'm lucky enough to have a couple of different types. So unfortunately he's not complete in there, obviously. This is the first release of him, so 1987. In fact, these and the gift set were released at the same time, but what we've got here is we've got C for Cybertrons, number 127. Cybertrons was Japanese for Autobot. We've got the transformation process on his back. I'm going to be uploading the transformation process in a separate video, purely because I'm going to take ages to do it and to do it really slowly and controlled. Again, there's his reference number at the top. We've got a quick picture of him both modes there. We've got the beautiful Headmaster's artwork on the back there, which has of course got the huge Titan Fortress Maximus and Scorponok coming in. We've got the tech spec on the back, the robot points there, and again just a barcode underneath. This originally cost 850 yen when it came out, and this was the time just before they started putting things like the robot points and everything on. Now that's still sealed, so I'm not going to open that, on the actual flaps of the cards. I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. Now what I've done, in fact, let's have a look at the entire contents of the packaging for you then, just to give you an idea if you're after purchasing one for yourself. Now these are exactly the same no matter which one you buy. You've got the two of these, and these go either side, and they clip either side of Raiden's legs like so. So you need both of them, and these fit inside. Excuse the polythene noise, I'll show you the gun in a second. And then you've got these would normally be 3 full connector tabs, and that's just to connect and join the trains together. And as you can see, this is missing the middle parts. That's something else that you need to be aware of, because these trains do break up into lots of little pieces. This has unfortunately got the missing arms on the underside, and as you've already seen from the actual robot mode, the backpack is indeed extra kibble. Now I've took the paperwork out of this already just to show you, because the actual train that was in there I've took out, because when I was lucky enough to buy this, it was unused contents. So this is the entire pack that came with it, and as you can see, there's loads, absolutely loads that came with it. So let's have a quick look at it all. Some of it I've done in more detail in other videos. I just want to give you a quick whistle stop look through. So there's his sticker sheet, C127. We've of course got the tech spec decoder. This is what I loved about the Japanese figures. They gave you these little collector's cards each time with each figure, and it's exactly that. It's got his little details on the back and a little write-up. You've then got a feedback card which came with every figure. You've then got a mail away leaflet. If you want to see these in more detail, go to the leaflets and flyers playlist on this channel. You can see this in much more detail. You can also see this amazing toy catalogue as well. So you've got the Cybertrons on the one side, and you've got the Destrons, which is of course the Decepticons, on the other side, and there's your checklist. Again, much more detailed videos of them if you want to see it. Now, this is what I wanted to show you as well, the instructions. This is really interesting. You see they've got C131. That you can't make out at the minute. I'm going to show you in a second is the Raiden gift set. And to be honest, this is the instructions that they put in all of the individual train boxes, and indeed in the gift set. So what they did was, rather than print loads of individual ones, they just printed them all out on one sheet. So there's 126, 127 will be on the other side, 128, etc, etc. So they could just put these in each box and each gift set, so no need for individual instructions. And they did this with pretty much all the combiners as well, so it was all put on one sheet, and then it was easy obviously to distribute in and around to all of them. Right, let me just move these out of the way quickly, and we're going to have a very brief look at the alternate mode. And again, in Japan, trains are so popular, and the alternate mode is a 200 series Shinkansen bullet train. And again, unfortunately, this has got a teeny bit of sun fade on it, but these are the bits that are missing from that one there. So these are the arms. There is a rub sign there. These are die cast metal wheels, I think. I'm pretty sure they are, because they usually always get corroded, so that's something else to be aware of. And indeed, the ball and socket joints there for the arms. As you can see, they're metal as well. The one thing I quickly didn't show you was his weapon. This is his accessory. I think it's referred to as a snow gun or something. I'll just double check that before I finish this video. And of course, you need to make sure that it's got the little handle, because it is tiny and it can easily be damaged. So yes, it is a snow laser pistol. The train itself is as basic as you're going to get. You can obviously make out that they're going to be the legs, etc. But it's exactly that. It's a bullet train. It does look really good, and it serves its purpose. Let's just move these slightly out of the way for now. So this was the 1990 reissue. So the easiest way you can, I suppose, relate this is in the UK and Australasian countries, we had gold box reissues of some of the main figures. In Japan, they had zone box, and the reason why it's zone is because in 1990 in Japan, that was the cartoon series. So again, they were lucky enough in Japan to have Transformers cartoons. Granted, zone was only one episode long, but they still had one, and this is just the zone box. The details are the same apart from the numbers, so it's still the same picture, it's still the same artwork. This is just C127 and this is C356. The artwork on the back is different as well. You've got the zone logo, you've got the trains there joined, and you've got the Raiden combined, and indeed the tech spec. This is what I meant earlier that they did, which I think is brilliant. It's probably not going to be on this side, but let's have a quick, nope, there's nothing on them. But on this side, inside here, you will see, in fact, let's have a look at that first. There's a brilliant picture of Raiden, but this is what I love, the fact they did this. It was brilliant. So they put the robot points on the inner flap, so you didn't have to cut the boxes open. Right, luckily enough that didn't knock it over, but it has just slipped. So I'm going to move and we'll look at this next, shall we say. So this is the gift set that he was also available in. In fact, I'm going to need to pick this up and pan out. So this is the gift set. There's the C131, so that each individual numbers for the trains are there. And then of course you've got 131, which is the combiner, and that is indeed Raiden. All right, let's bring this down. So the thing to show you that's different is they've got all the tech specs, but there's 7 because you've got Raidens as well. So you've got all 6 individual bots and Raidens. The artwork is still, of course, the Headmasters from 1987, which again, although they did a Sunbow version, in Japan they did their own version of Headmasters, and it went on for much longer with a lot more episodes. I'm just going to balance that back there. Hopefully, yep. And you can see here that he makes Raiden's left leg. Now, he can be the right leg if you want him to be, but unlike the Scramble City combiners, he can only be either one of the legs. So he's got a little bit more versatility than the Devastator and Predaking, where they can only be one place. But with this, he's just got to be a leg, and that is that. Right, I don't think there's much more to say about this guy, apart from obviously I'm really anticipating the new Masterpiece version. There was one other version of him released, again, only in Japan, and I think this was 1990 as well. This is the Raiden Junior gift set, so everything's the same, except it's TF Juniors, and these are just much more simplified versions of the original trainbots. They are literally really simplified. They look like an 8-bit computer graphics, but that's exactly what they look like. I'm going to do a video on this gift set soon, to be honest. It's just exactly that. It's tiny, and Raiden himself isn't that big, so we'll do a full comparison for that in a separate video. This one is, of course, just about Yukikaze, so I'm going to bring him back in, and I'm going to do a couple more comparisons, even though there's not really much point because he's tiny. There's a deluxe hotshot, again, just up to his waist. Funnily enough, just the only one around at the moment is a leader class Transmetal Megs, and he's as big as Raiden, to be fair, so that gives you an idea of how big he is. Yeah, he's a small, simple little figure, but as I said at the very beginning, nearly knocked it over again there, these are pre-Transformers, so even before 1984, released as Diaclone figures, as Train Robot I think was his proper name, but I'm not 100% a Diaclone, so if I've got that wrong, I apologise. But that's it. I think that's all there is to say about this brilliant little figure. It's great we've got some Masterpiece versions of them, official and indeed Moon Studios, and let's hopefully we'll be able to get some Chug versions of these in the future as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed looking at him. This is 1987 Japanese exclusive train bot from the Headmaster series, Yukikaze. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.